Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be the YouTube made me buy it tag. So basically I'm going to be showing you a bunch of classic products from YouTube and also some that I just wouldn't have heard about if I wasn't on YouTube. And I'm also going to be giving you my thoughts on each one, whether or not I think it was worth buying in the first place. And it was my birthday the other day, and so now I have two new Pokemon. So I have Sylveon and Jolteon, which Jonathan got for me. So I just need one more until my set is complete. I think I'm just missing Flareon now. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get straight into the first product, which is the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. Now, as a YouTube watcher yourself, I'm going to be pretty surprised if you haven't heard of any of the products that I'm talking about. The NARS Sheer Glow Foundation I heard about firstly through Zoella. She was literally the first person I ever watched on YouTube, and this was her favourite foundation. I don't actually know if it is anymore because I don't follow her anymore, but she used to mention this in just about every single one of her videos. And then it wasn't just because of her, I then started hearing about it through a bunch of other YouTubers as well. And basically, even to this day, when people are like, oh, I just need a foundation that I know it works, I've got to go out in a rush, like I just need to slap on a foundation that I know is going to be awesome, they will quite often reach for this foundation. So I know that it's just people's go-to, it's the one that they know isn't going to let them down. So I picked this up last year, and this is, I think, 72 New Zealand or 82 New Zealand dollars, and then the pump is $5 extra, so the whole thing came to $87, which at the time I thought was a lot of money for a foundation. And I mean, to be honest, the bottle is quite small as well, but this is not like one of the most expensive foundations that you can buy, obviously. It is a high-end foundation, but I think it's still cheaper than like the Too Faced Born This Way and other high-end foundations like that. Anyway, I love this foundation so much. I'm really, really glad that I bought it. It definitely works for me just as well as everyone said that it would. So this one gets a thumbs up from me. It is worth the hype. Next we have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. This was all the rage about 2 years ago on YouTube, and I actually thought that it was limited edition, so I freaked out that I hadn't got it and that I was not going to be able to get it. And then as soon as I had the money, I just like ran out and bought it straight away. If you haven't seen it, it comes with 3 different like face powder shades. The packaging is beautiful, the shades themselves are beautiful, they're finely milled, they feel absolutely lovely. My issue with this product is that everyone wanted it and everyone bought it, but the shades aren't going to suit everyone. I think they should have come out with like 4 or 5 different palettes that had different tones in them. Like, this palette is kind of okay for me. It's even like these 2 shades here are a little bit dark for me most of the time. If it were me, I would have given the palettes shade names. This one would have been called the light one. There would have been another one that was even lighter that I would have called fair for people that need shades even lighter than the ones in here. And then there would have been some darker ones as well, because obviously these shades are not going to work for anyone with like a darker skin tone than medium. I don't really know what Hourglass was thinking with this palette because it really isn't going to suit a lot of people. So my opinion is skip the palette. Just go for one of the single powders if you want an Hourglass product. We better make a start on palettes because I have a couple of palettes here to show you. The first one is the Urban Decay Naked palette. Of course, this is the cult classic palette here on YouTube. It's beautiful. I love it so much. The colours blend so easily. I actually think the brush is really good as well. Like when I was overseas last year, I took this palette with me and I used the brush that came with the palette just to save space, and it's fine. Like, it's not like one of those crappy brushes that they normally put in palettes. It actually works really, really well. There are a couple of shades in here that I don't reach for, and I probably won't ever reach for unless I try to pan this palette. Dark Horse is one of them, and Hustle kind of, like, I could probably use Hustle, but it's just not one of the ones that I reach for. Definitely Dark Horse. Like, I don't know what to make of that shade. Is it green? Is it a dark gold? Is it bronze? Like, I don't really get that shade at all. But I love all of the other colours. I would definitely be happy to reach for any of them. And I really just love the quality of this palette. So even though the hype is kind of over now around this palette, I still think that it is worth the investment and it was worth the hype. The Benefit Hoola Bronzer. I really, really love this. To be honest, I don't have the best experience when I go to the Benefit counter. Like, I find the ladies that work there to be a little bit rude, and I don't really know how to explain it. Kind of impatient. It's like they just want you to leave so that they can get back to chatting to each other. Like, I don't know. I don't like going to the benefit counter, but I am happy that I picked this up. I don't like the brush that comes with it, I have to say. Like, everyone says that the brush is really good. I don't like the brush. I tried it a couple of times, wasn't for me. But the product itself is the perfect shade for me for bronzing and contouring, so I can just use it as an all-in-one product. And it blends really easily as well. And if you're not aware, they have just come out with the Hoola Light, which is obviously like the light version of this. To me, it looks just like a face powder, but I guess if you are super, super fair, and this was always really dark for you, then maybe try that one. Hopefully the next step for them is coming out with the Hoola Dark. That would make sense in my mind. But I think this is just a really good product that does actually somehow suit a lot of different skin tones. I think it's worth the hype. YouTube made me buy the Lorac Pro palette, and I'm not mad about it. The shades are absolutely beautiful, and I really love the concept of doing a row of mattes and a row of shimmers, because you always need matte shades to like go in the crease and just to kind of make a look work, and a lot of palettes just don't have enough matte shades, so I really, really appreciate this. And this is actually a palette where I can get every single one of the shades in here to work for me. Like, I would normally not reach for a really, really dark brown like this, but I use it in my brows and it's the right shade, so that works really nicely. The purple is like the only one that I'm a little bit scared of, but I can still use it, it's fine. Darker colors like that I tend to use as a liner, so I can still get use out of them. And then the other shades just work really well. I'm not scared of them at all. I think they look really, really nice, and they blend super easily as well. I love how compact this palette is. Like, look how thin that is. But I would never travel with this one because I've heard that because of the formula of the eyeshadows, they tend to shatter really, really easily because they are so like soft and powdery. But at least it doesn't take up too much space in my collection. Okay, we're gonna break it up with a clothing item that YouTube made me buy, and it is the jumper that I'm wearing right now. This was created by Lily Pebbles and Anna from the Anna Edit. They created two jumpers, I bought both of them. So this one says loungewear for life, and the other one is a light grey one that says #NoMakeupDay. And they're both like fleecy on the inside. They're really, really nice and warm. And the money was donated to a charity called Look Good Feel Better. The reason that I say that YouTube made me buy these is because they were created by YouTubers. I just wouldn't have heard about them if I wasn't a YouTube watcher. I do have to say though, the one thing that I don't like about these jumpers is that if I just stand up normally, you can't see the ends of the words. Like, I have to hold it out like this for you to actually be able to read it. I think if you got a bigger size, then it would be okay. Like Lily and Anna, they did the photos wearing size mediums, which I guess would just be a bit looser. There's a bit more material, so it kind of reads a little bit easier. This is a size small, so I guess the words are the same size on all of the sizes, whereas there's less material the smaller it gets, so it makes sense, but it's just a little bit annoying. Speaking of things created by YouTubers that I wouldn't have heard of if I didn't watch YouTube, the BH Cosmetics ShanXO palette I would never ever have known about if I didn't watch Shannon or other YouTubers. I'm not going to show you the inside of this because you know this is the palette that I'm trying to pan this year, but if you don't know, somehow it has 9 eyeshadows on one side and 9 lipsticks on the other side, and I'm trying to use all of it up this year. I think the eyeshadows are really, really good quality. The lipsticks, not so much, but they're okay. I am wearing a lipstick from the palette today, and obviously my eyeshadows are from this palette as well. I do have a full review video on this on my channel if you'd like to check it out. I'll try and remember to have that linked in the description box. But yeah, basically, like, I'm happy to support Shannon, and I think she did a really, really good job. And for the price that I paid, this is an amazing palette, but I wouldn't repurchase it because I just don't like the idea of the lipsticks. They're not very pigmented to begin them, although you can build them up, but then like once you've applied them, you go out for the day, what, you're gonna take a huge palette with you to reapply? No. So the lipstick idea was a nice idea, but it doesn't really work. YouTube made me buy the Maybelline Color Tattoos. I used to have 8 of these, because I was like so into collecting them for a while. They were so hyped up on YouTube for like a really, really long time, and now absolutely no one talks about them. I think these make a really good eyeshadow base. You can also wear them alone depending on the color. I've kind of kept two of the more neutral colors, so I can wear these on their own and also as bases, but then there were some like more out there colors that you probably wouldn't wear on their own. You'd need some other shadows to kind of blend them in a little bit. The two that I've kept are Bad to the Bronze and Tough as Taupe. And I think these are probably dupes for the MAC paint pots, although I haven't actually tried those, so I can't really compare them. But I think Maybelline was thinking along the same lines as those when they created them. To be honest, the MAC paint pots were really, really hyped up on YouTube as well, probably around the same time as these. I haven't heard anyone talk about those for a really long time either. I would say for most people, this would be the only thing you'd need to use as your eyeshadow base. For me, because my eyeshadow creases like really, really easily, these do an okay job at stopping the creasing, but they don't completely stop it, so I can't really use these on their own if I want them to last all day. So for me, it's just an extra step in my makeup routine. I don't really need the extra step. I'm keeping this one because I need a dark base to put underneath one of the shadows in the Shaaanxo palette, and I can't really remember why I'm keeping this one. I think there was like a bright shade in one of my other palettes that I was using this to tone it down. I won't be buying more of these though, and as you probably know, these are the only two I have left when I used to have 8, which means that I decluttered 6 out of the 8. Kind of shows you how I feel about them. I think they are a little bit expensive for what they are. Like one of these is like $15 here in New Zealand. I think that's a bit of a rip-off. On to the last thing for this video that YouTube made me buy, and it is MAC lipsticks. Now I have 11 MAC lipsticks in total now. These are the 4 that I've chosen to show you today because these are the 4 in particular that I heard about through YouTube. So I am going to give you my thoughts on each one because I don't think the same thing about all of them. Let's start with Ruby Woo. This is probably the one that I heard the most about through YouTube. Everyone is like, oh, you need the perfect red lipstick, it's Ruby Woo, like it's perfect. I think this is the most drying lipstick I have ever used. This to me is worse than a liquid lipstick because a liquid lipstick, at least you can apply it easily because it's liquid when you apply it. This tugs at my lips so much. It's the most uncomfortable thing in the world. I have to apply this over top of lip balm, otherwise I can't get it on. So I don't really know who decided that retro mattes were a good idea. I mean, once they're on, it's okay, but I can't actually, like, I really struggle to apply this. Next we have Snob, which is one that I heard about through like Shaaanxo and a few other girls. This is like a really, really cool toned light pink, which is the perfect color on Shannon. It's like her old favorite color to wear. She wore it all the time and it looks hideous on me. I think because she probably has neutral undertones, so she can wear like warm tones and cool tones and they both look fine. I have warm undertones, so a lipstick with cool undertones doesn't look the best on me. It looks really, really stupid. Next we have Velvet Teddy, which was apparently the shade that Kylie Jenner wore once, and so everyone went crazy for it. It's like a brownie nude color. This is the perfect nude shade for me. It's basically the same color as my lips. It just like smooths them out, gives them a little bit of color, and it is the perfect everyday shade for me. I love the formula as well. This is one of the matte finishes as opposed to the retro matte, which is what Ruby Woo is. The mattes are probably my favorite formula because they're matte enough that they stay on all day, but they're still creamy enough to apply easily and feel comfortable. And the last one is Candy Yum Yum, which is another one that I heard about through Shannon and various other girls that were really, really into this bright Barbie pink at the time. I do quite like the color. Obviously it is very bright, so it is definitely a standout lipstick. Like, you don't want to wear this on an everyday basis. The color looks fine on me, but my problem with this lipstick and this shade of lipstick now is that the very, very first time that I wore this, I found out that my dog had been put down. And so now I just associate this color with my dog being dead, and I don't feel happy when I look at this shade anymore, whereas if that hadn't happened, I would probably still want to wear this, but now every time I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, my dog is dead. And then I just don't want to put it on. It's a nice shade though, like there's nothing against the actual shade. It's a fine lipstick. It's makes me sad. So that is going to be it for today's video. Those are some of the products that YouTube made me buy. Obviously there are a lot more, so let me know if you would like to see a part 2 at some point in the future. Let me know down below what products YouTube made you buy. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I will see you next time. Bye!